1v1 dueling jungler. If you get all of those, I'm totally fine to back EDG here.
And I'm the same here. If Samsung get winning lanes for Oscurin, I think they'll win also.
That's why I'm going to step in and say that Mouse he's really good at taking pressure. So if he gets like a blind pick, Jarvan into a Renekton.
Resident flip-flopper Raz, was that a EDG prediction? All right, there we have it in this best of one. Samsung up against EDG. As we were saying on the analysis, pretty much the second headliner match today as we jump into picks and bans here. Waiting on the first ban to come out from Samsung.
I'll have to wait and see if we get notified of that.
Suspense.
It went to 0 seconds, so maybe we'll get a remake. Somehow I don't think they skipped a ban, but we don't have any clear information about that. Worth noting that Samsung are starting on blue side. That might have some relevance here. What they reach for at first pick, I think, could be an interesting question.
Mouse definitely just turned around and was like, can I just ban? It was like, all right, yeah, sure. So he would go ahead and ban Caitlyn away from Samsung. We're now waiting down the clock once again.
So we're looking at the comp from Samsung, who played in game 1 of the night. We see them almost back-to-back here, game 1, game 3. Rumble, Rek'Sai, Orianna, Varus, and Tahm Kench. I think the Rek'Sai to me was one of the big parts there. I think seeing Ambition on Rek'Sai he's now 3-0 for the season. I feel like he didn't necessarily have a proactive early game, and yet he has the potential to be unlocked on a pick like that. So with so many jungle bans, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to there being Rek'Sai first pick.
Yeah, because there's the Zac and also the Elise. And the first ban was also just a misban, so there will be no remake on that one. So Samsung actually just heading into the first phase with only 2 bans.
And I wish we could know more. I wish we could know if it was strategic, because things like missed bans have never really been used strategically. It felt like there were other errors and issues that made these things happen. So we're already at the picking state. So Rek'Sai is available as one of the strong meta picks. In this particular case, it'd be a pretty big reach for Ambition to first pick a Rek'Sai, but it's very possible.
I mean, a lot of jungle has been taken away, Papa, and at the same time, Galio and Xayah with the final bans, it will in fact be a first pick Rek'Sai.
So my first thought, Rek'Sai first pick is fine. Now we jump over to the side of LPL and the side of EDG. Ashe and Varus both available. You kind of get your reviewer's tilt on which one you'd prefer. Do very much expect Zet to be going for the standard laning AD carry rather than be going for anything more risky, because you want to unlock Mako. You don't necessarily want him to be stuck in a lane. And guess what? Thresh and Braum are both available. He gets his pick of them.
There you go. And as we were saying before, Mako, this is pretty much his meta right now. Thresh could have been the other one as well, but now pretty much denies the Thresh pick over to Samsung. It's like, well, now you're playing as my Braum. Have fun with that alongside the Varus. Didn't lock in the jungler just yet, though, but Clayliv has a lot of time to play with.
This could be Ashe Zyra from the side of Samsung and just force Braum to stay in lane. We mentioned if you go for a roaming support here, it may very much bog down into whether Mako and Clearlove or Ambition and Core JJ can make the roam plays. And because Core JJ has traditionally been a laning-focused support, I feel like the synergy between Ambition and Core JJ is tenuous at best. Tahm Kench would be the melee support if you were to select one. They will go for that to deny some of the pick power, but they don't actually focus on cementing lane, and we could see Clearlove and Mako profit from this decision.
And Core JJ's Tahm Kench was fantastic earlier. He was saving the lives of so many of his allies through the entirety of that game against J-Teams, so I'm not even sad that he is picking that one up here. Though on the opposite side, Edward Gaming, will they actually go for the jungle right here, or will they just go for the mid lane Corki? Yeah, exactly.
You could just pick a Corki and even ban some of the tricky lanes into it. We're going very deep on some of these timers. Somehow,
I feel like it's probably not Urgot, and it got timed out.
I really want to explode about Urgot here, but it seems very unlikely there's an Urgot, and with the takeaway, seems like perhaps we'll get the
As much as I wanted to see it, I feel like that would have been in an MVP game, and not in a Samsung
It would have
EDG.
been a support. You know it would have been a support.
Oh yeah, I was so ready for that. Didn't come out, unfortunately. We will have a remake on Picks and Bans. It was just a timeout, and they weren't able to pick the champions. So quickly going to remake that one, get back up to speed. Back to that final one.
Guys, we need to note here, I asked Samsung what happened to the Dignitas mousepad.
Well, found it.
And Ruler has it again. So clearly, they did not run it for one set, they found it.
Is this the secret sauce? Is this a secret ingredient?
I mean, Core JJ is the NA re-import, so he just handed over the AD carry.
So yes,
his Dignitas mousepad. Absolutely. It's been their good luck. It got them to the finals of Worlds.
Yeah.
What else could it have been?
It's got to be the mousepad, man. Nothing else. Going into EDG as well. This actually, in all of the matches we had today, does mean a lot for both regions, actually, because when you have a top team of EDG taking on a Samsung, it will mean a lot for the fans at home.
And cool storyline of Zet facing a Korean team again. Of course, Zet was Cry on the side of the Rocks Tigers throughout 2016 was their substitute mid laner, played some games, quite a lot of games in spring, a little bit less in summer, role swap to AD carry. So was imported over to China. First time he's been able to play against a Korean team since he made his re-debut as Zed.
Exactly, and he role swapped and he's ours now, basically, is what I'm trying to tell
you. You can have
Papa.
him, you know?
Hey,
look,
he's good.
we had the Rocks Tigers, and I know that everyone around the world was devastated to see them break up. They were the big hope.
Yep.
We kept 5 out of 6. You got the substitute. We kept the other 5 players. They're all mixed up now. I'm happy with the equation as it worked out.
Well, I'm not sure if you'd be happy at the end of this game when Zed completely destroys the
It
bottom
could happen.
lane.
It could happen. But the Rocks Tigers are all in Korea, so it's okay.
All right. Well, we actually do have the bottom lane locked in for this game. We had the Braum and the Varus going into the Tam Kench and the Ashe.
Very standard, you know, very, very standard. Engage on both sides, but disengage on both sides. So they're just going to be laning and then waiting to roam. So I think it's more about the teleport plays that can be made, probably in other lanes rather than necessarily the bot. We don't see Nautilus teleporting behind a turret, taking first brick, and the game snowballing from there as much as before. So waiting for the action. I wanted to see what the blind pick would be. I think Corki would be very smart in the spot they were at in the draft, but it could be like a Talia as well. Both of them were available.
Exactly, and I actually then wonder where the bans come out from Samsung, if they just start tossing bans at Clearlove, because then it will make us pool very small. I mean,
it
like
almost feels that, but like a reactive
these
ban phase
take
though,
away.
because the moment that you lock in a solo lane and start banning, then you start creating mismatches. So I feel like EDG is kind of the one we put the fine tooth comb on, but we'll return and track because with, as you say, the jungle pool, do you keep banning Clearlove champions? Because his one-offs this season, he's played a lot of different stuff. You look at one-offs, he's played one Lee Sin, one Zac, one Elise, one Rek'Sai, one Evelynn game. They had no priority in Elise, and they first picked Elise. I don't think banning a player who's been around for 7 years and has, I want to say a large effective pool, but certainly a large amount of champions he can win with.
Yeah.
That I don't think that works, but then where do you visit? I think it depends on what lane is picked. If it is to be a solo laner, it could just be a jungler and then...
Right now, yeah.
Exactly. We don't have that information. We're doing the ye old speculate with no information.
There you go. And if it is the last pick, because they are on red side, maybe an Evelynn does come out. And you know, a lot of international viewers be watching this are like, are you insane? Why would you pick Evelynn? It's a Clipper special, you know, it's been his champion. When it really gets down to it and he wants to win a game, sometimes he'll just say to the coach, it's going to be an Evelynn game, coach, and he locks it in.
But I feel like Nofe in this game, if Clearlove's like, all right, mate, I'm playing good old Evelynn.
Speaks like an Australian.
I think there needs to be a slap. I'm not sure if it's an open hand or a back. It's into Rek'Sai, so that seems really bad. The Tremor Sense kind of invalidates most of the invisibility there.
Yeah, it definitely seems pretty bad.
So that's the one where Nofe, I think, gets to put the carry pants on. That's still an Urgot. Let's not have that anymore.
Yeah, I'd have to assume it is something different. Got the quick refresh, and we are jumping out once more as the teams. Couple problems once again, but we'll be jumping back into the champion select shortly. We'll just need one of the players to rejoin the lobby.
Well, we got a bit of time to talk about things that aren't this draft. It's boring now. Unfortunately, we don't have any more information. You know what's a fun side fact about this tournament? We have 5 of the 6 world champion teams and their lineage playing in this tournament. Taipei Assassins, of course, are now J-Team. Samsung is the lineage of the 2 Samsung teams, and then SK Telecom are here as well. So we got a lot of world champions. We missed out on the Season 1 champions, sadly. They are playing in another region, but
they are playing.
Got a lot of world champions. I feel good about that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of history in this tournament, Papa.
Dignitas mouse pack. It's so good that it survived.
Incredible.
I mean, Core JJ is a player that I think is under-discussed on the world stage. People love the NA import. I mean, it's funny, absolutely. But a player like him, coming back to Korea, he got re-imported to play AD carry and looked very average. They couldn't choose between Core JJ and Stitch. Took a big risk in taking a challenger AD carry and ruler, planting him in, and of course did fantastically well. But Core JJ reinventing himself as a support over the course of 2016 summer, and now he's kind of codified as a top 5 support. You know, in the world, maybe we're not sure, but in Korea certainly he is a top 5 support, and it's his vision control and laning that have been his big things, although in the earlier match today, it was his Medivac players on the Tom Kench that caught the eye.
And it does make you wonder, like, what players who are underperforming right now could potentially find a new second life if given another opportunity, moving regions perhaps, moving lane perhaps, and then become very different players, because Core JJ is night and day what he once was.
Who have we got this tournament? Ambition, Score, both made their name on different roles. Core JJ has done that as well. It's kind of the fun thing of your career being longer because of the amount of years now that League of Legends has been a top 5 esport, because of the amount of money that's in the scene. No longer is it, well, I'll take a semester off of school and then go back after I have a bit of fun for a season. These guys see it as careers. So seeing the players that do have the voices, that do have the motivation to reinvent themselves, stick around, in some cases be better than they ever were. Score was a very good AD carry. Maybe top 3 in Korea when he was playing there. But by the end, it felt like he was being overtaken by Imp and Deft and the rest of the names.
Sure.
He is an incredible jungler. So having stories like that, Ambition, you know, no one could have known that he would end up being a very strong jungler, even if it was a flex role for him once upon a time. It's really cool to see. And the Core JJ one is just the most crazy, where it felt like his career was just over when Ruler came in, and yet here he is again, and now much more respected than he ever was in his previous role.
I think sometimes it can go too far, especially in the LPL. There's been a lot of reinvention. EasyHoon became a support for a week.
I feel like Insect has gone between top and jungle too many times. I want Insect to play support. He'd find a way to make Yasuo work.
Oh, put that Lee Sin in bottom lane. I see so many Lee Sin supports for no particular reason. That'd be amazing.
So we do actually have 3 bans this time from the side of Samsung. Unclear if this is going to be... It's going to be a full remake. Okay, so Rek'Sai is banned now, this time from Edward Gaming.
That's very interesting.
We didn't get that advanced information, so we'll have to see where we adapt from here. Had a very strange first round because of the first pick being... the first ban not being completed. So we'll see where things go, because there has been some information revealed. The Rek'Sai is certainly an adaptation ban. We have seen a lot of Varus from Ruler. 8-2 on the season. They're just going to trade Varus and Ashe. It's not like Samsung get a super play, and I feel like Edward Gaming getting rid of the Rek'Sai is actually a big boom to them coming into our remake draft.
Definitely feels pretty good. Yeah, almost feels like it's maybe even better for Edward Gaming against Samsung here. But yeah, that is traded ADCs. It just depends where Edward Gaming are going to bring their next pick now. Do they again go for the Braum alongside his Ashe?
I think that's super likely. I think there'd be almost no reason not to do that. And I'm personally of the opinion that Ashe is higher priority than Varus. So they go for the Tahm Kench to deny initiation. But
literally just swapped up bottom lanes.
Yeah, we just ended up switching from what feels like a static pool of champions. And at least from the little information we have, it feels like Samsung lost out on that. Even if they can take Gragas, who has been the best and most performing champion for Ambition in the summer season.
Sure. Gragas logged in as well very early into Samsung's draft to use that flex there as well for Kuve Ambition.
Almost 100% will be Ambition's jungler. On patch 7.12, he doesn't have the 7-13 changes to be able to go Catalyst.
Yeah.
3 Doran's Rings, not attractive anymore. So while Maren is still trying to make top lane Gragas, and there's still a chance, it will just be the Gragas jungle almost certainly. And yep, we just had to switch up. Now it's going to be Varus Braum for the side of LCK.
Legit. Swap through has been complete. Back over to Edward Gaming.
This
and
is
the question is still the same.
And this is where we got the quandary. Whether it's going to be a jungler or was it going to be something different? Clearlove.
Don't play with my heart, Clearlove. Oh, he does it! He locks it in, Evelyn into the jungle. I said it earlier, Papa Smithy, and you were like, nah, probably not going to happen. This time they take away the Rek'Sai.
I don't think you can take the high horse where the game had to be remade to disallow the Rek'Sai, and now he can play the Evelyn.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic. And sometimes Clearlove will just do that.
You realize in an out-of-context VOD, I'm just going to look like an idiot because they won't have the first draft.
I am the analyst now. But that also leads into Camille back, but more importantly, Evelyn in that jungle. And this is one of these times, it is a legacy pick for Clearlove. He turns around and he says, I'm going to play this game, and the team just accepts it. And more often than not, it works out.
And it felt like it should never have happened because the Rek'Sai was in the remade draft, wouldn't have been space for an Evelyn. Now we do see, as you say, the trademark champion of Clearlove through all his names and his history, the famous MSI Game 5 victory champion, was the Evelyn. And it's a sort of pick that will really add questions to Samsung, who like to play a controlled game, who drafted very standard. Evelyn instantly warps the game. And because we've had no Evelyn games, like most regions, in the summer season, you have to very quickly remember, hey, wait, how do we play against Evelyn? We've got to start warding those camps and really being a lot more respectful.
Yeah, Evelyn is, or warped is a great word for it because you just have to change the way that you play the game entirely. Corki and Karma banned away from Edward Gaming here, primarily against Scout in this one, as they already have the Tahm Kench pick, and the final ban was led towards Kuve.
So Renekton's really strong in this spot because they double banned Kuve's big top lane bruiser carry champions in Kled and the Camille. If they didn't ban one, the other would have been selected, but Gnar is available and been that very common pick for Kuve in recent times. He was the first person to play Gnar in 2017 in Korea. It's been exclusively played as a laning counter pick, Now, it is a range laning counter pick where you try to apply pressure against an Evelynn, so there will be that extra ramification. And with Syndra available very late in the draft, it is still going to be power and largely winning lanes for Samsung Galaxy.
This is why I like international events, because I haven't had the chance to cast Nara in my own region, but seeing it come out here into that Renekton, Syndra as well for that mid lane for Crown, and that's going to be a Taliyah matching him, so a classic scout champion to round up the draft.
Still super risky to draft the Taliyah into the Syndra. It can go well, you can rush a Banshee Veil, Evelynn can gank the lane, and you miss the window of power. But if they just have standard items and Syndra get some spheres onto the field, it can be the sort of lane that Syndra will run away with. And Crown is a fantastic Syndra player. So if he needed a blind pick, it is going to be Syndra. But it's Syndra with the added variables of the Abyssal Voyage and the Evelynn invisibility. And the play patterns you want, basically proxying the lane, queuing every time Taliyah walks up, are so much more risky when there are unknown variables that Edward Gaming is throwing out at you.
The Evelynn will be very frustrating as well, because we see many games where Clearlove will pick the Evelynn and actually just farm for the first like 15-20 minutes, but you just don't know where he is because he's off the map. So he could be in your lane, you just don't know.
Now we see the coaches walk up, trying to make sense of what was a very surreal situation.
I'll
with
be
the
honest,
remake.
if my enemy team just picked up the Evelynn, I'd be washing my hands after that one.
So interesting to see if we can see the pivots from Samsung to understand that it's an Evelynn, doesn't skirmish very well early, can be invaded. This is a very different jungle matchup. We never see junglers like Evelynn selected. It's like Ivern has never been a big pick in Korea. Samsung could just enact an early game plan and try to starve the Evelynn from actually getting to level 6 at a reliable speed.
Do know how to execute that, but that is a very real possibility. Shut down the Evelynn before she ever becomes a thing. But again, it's Clearlove's Evelynn. No one else really plays this pick at all, ever, in the world at this point in time. So it's just a question marks around how does he even start? What's his jungle path? Where does he go right now? Like, what's he gonna do? You
Don't
know?
look at me for answers. I'm not the Evelynn whisperer.
Don't look at me either.
You guys had an Evelynn game.
We did. We had
He
one
started
game,
again and played Evelynn.
which he won. He did win that game. As we
he
get
did.
onto the rift for Samsung and EDG, and it is one of our headline matchups for today, and we have an Evelynn inside it. So I think there's just reason to be excited all over the board.
Definitely surreal stuff coming out in this particular game. The Evelynn, which, you know, with the original draft wouldn't have been a thing. I do not think that he would have drafted the Evelynn into Rek'Sai, which was the original first pick. We had a remade pick and ban, new pick and ban. They do get to run the Evelynn. As a tournament without Worlds implications, it's a real pleasure to be able to see Clearlove's trademark Evelynn on the world stage. But is it a power pick, or is it just something to kind of salute the crowd and say, hey, I'm still around, I'm still Clearlove? That much, I think, is going to be tracked. And will Samsung, who do play a controlled game, have a plan for what is a Clearlove special?
And it's a bit of both, right? Because the fans will absolutely love it back at home. I mean, everyone will be very interested to see an Evelynn in the first place, but it is also to win. And Clearlove, when he plays the Evelynn, he plays at 110%, and he makes it work. So Zet and Mako actually starting on the bottom side. From what I can see, no real invade. It looks like there is a ward on the Raptors now for EDG, which is the way you have to play against Evelynn. You can't play at jungle entrances. You have to place them on the camps when Evelynn's actually revealed.
So Samsung could have gone for a very hard double leash here. What you can do on blue side especially is have Syndra help over the wall, take the little Raptors, then take red buff, and from there go for it. Because you're so accelerated, go for a big roam, but respecting Taliyah's ability to walk in, it's going to be a much slower clear for Ambition, so he won't be able to walk into the enemy red and try to contest the Evelynn. And this does relieve pressure out of what is going to be a fairly low HP full clear for the Evelynn, who just wants to rush for level 6 if possible.
And Clearlove's actually gone for the refillable potion as well, so we'll probably be looking for a somewhat early back after his initial clear. Get towards his first item, and we'll start on his red buff as well. Has his smite ready to go. Gone for Thunderlords for anyone at home who would be interested in perhaps trying the Evelynn themselves
Please
as well.
no. Please no.
And ruining solo queue in your respective region. Go ahead and pick the Thunderlords.
We are talking to the English fans, so it's likely to be the North American or Oceanic.
Oh, we can
region.
harm multiple regions at once with
That's
this.
true. That's true.
EU, NA.
The reverberations of the Evelynn can hit every region. What a thought.
There you go. I don't think it's necessarily like a toxic champion though. I would say like a Shaco, pretty toxic. But
I mean,
like
Shaco got buffed on the
requires-
latest patch.
Unfortunately, yes. But Evelynn.
Are you in the Shaco school of thought?
I'm not. No.
I mean, in terms of
prefer my
Shaco versus
cheese.
Shaco. The pronunciation is...
I actually mix it up.
So Clearlove is going for a very quick
level
gank.
3, the flash comes in from Mako. Samsung know what's up right now, but Clearlove from the shadows. Ruler dropping low. Whoa, auto attack should do it. And he actually stands and fights. The line is drawn. First blood over to the Clearlove Evelyn. The double kill to EDG.
He started bot side, but made the very fast path to the top side, and then came to bot lane for a level 3 gank. Completely surprising Samsung. They could have gone for an invasion-heavy route, but because they started slow, because Gragas got no advanced information till now, sure, he might get away a Raptor camp, but it's all summoners down on Samsung, and a massive lead for EDG.
And Zed even gets to keep hold of his heal as well, so pretty much EDG got everything from that. Cliff goes back to base, has a Dark Seal now as inventory, and we get to see that one more time, skirts the vision.
And just consider where Gragas is at. Gragas had just got the Rift Scuttler, walked over to his walls. There's no pressure relieved by Ambition on where the Evelyn is at. Both his buffs are down. They don't have that information. He walks into bot lane, and we asked, would Samsung have a plan? Will they make adaptations to the extra variable that the Evelyn throws out? And the answer is a resounding no.
2-0 in the early game. That resounding no can be heard across the Rift because Ambition now has to go back to base, picks up the Hunter's Potion as well, actually, alongside the Tracker's Knife, and is just buckling down for the long haul. Skulov goes ahead and takes the crab, level 4 right now, and is in a very good point in this game for him. Has the Chilling Smite on top of the Dark Seal, ready to just get some more kills rolling.
Yeah, Samsung's lack of adaptation, whether it came to their mid laner pushing for a vision, and speaking of mid laner.
Yeah, Clear jumps out of the shadows once again, gets pushed away. Scout's still putting a lot of damage down. Follows up with the Q on top of that, and will not be a kill. There is no Ignite on top of that damage from Q, but still probably shoves Crown out of lane, if not having to burn all of those potions.
I mean, Crown has pretty big balls to not use any summoners in that scenario, walk forwards because he wanted to avoid the W coming through from the Talia. Didn't use summoners. Feels like he has enough region to stay.
Ooh, has to flash away from that one, and really he wanted the balls to be on the floor so that he actually could have gotten the stun down onto Scout.
He's trying to create pressure while Nara is invading, while they're getting advantages elsewhere. Eventually has to give up a summoner, so he's repelled quite a lot of aggression on the Syndra and kept up one escape summoner. He really wants to be able to pressure at level 6.
Ambition wandering into the mid lane. Hasn't seen Clearlove yet, but he is waiting the brush and jumps in. Knocked back, flick of the wrist in from Scout. Lower mana, Clearlove still chasing after. Comes in with a flash. Misses a lot of the Q damage. Crown turning it around level 4. Level 5 on Crown, turns it around. This should be the kill. And pretty much corralled back into his lane. It is 1 kill reclaimed for Samsung.
Oh, Ambition playing with fire. Didn't know he was walking into 2. Crown mops it up even before he hits level 6. Actually hits it as we go off screen. Samsung's strong lanes where they blind pick a Syndra and got to answer the Renekton are really what they have to rely on in the mid game. That's why it was so crucial that Crown did not use his summoners, just relied on the outplay. This could have gone multiple different ways. In the end, Ambition gets out, is not taken down. Hard commit by both Scout and Clearlove, but Scout's out of mana, so he just has to flee upwards. Crown, 4-0 this season, has gone from unable to play Syndra to a Syndra god in 2017, and they need both solo lanes to make up for the slack that is going to be created with Ruler and Core JJ largely having to play wave clear and disengage with the lack of summoners.
Crown's gone for the Dark Seal on top of that as well, so he's actually looking to snowball himself in the mid lane. And you said it yourself, Papa, that this lane could be run away with from Crown on the Syndra against the Talia, so it's something that EDG will have to be thinking about in the back of their minds.
It's awesome to see Crown walk up like he did, use no summoners on a game. I would say 99.9% of professional players would have flashed at that point, but didn't use a summoner, then drew out the flash, then had Ghost available to pick up the kill. For a player who's been down on form as recently as Game 1, but crucially, most of the summer season, it's great to see that that old adage of form is temporary and class is permanent was certainly clear on the Rift.
For now. In the bottom lane, still advantage to the EDG bottom lane. If ever slight, because 1 kill did go to Mako, so it has sped up his item build. See, he's got the early sight stone on top of that, and refillables across the board in from EDG. I want to see what the next move is now from Clearlove, because it has hit that level 6, where he visits next. But it is always that constant kind of global pressure just from not showing himself.
They haven't been able to clear control wards, so he wants to gank bottom lane. Could still lane gank bottom lane, but would prefer to come in from a slight flank and profit off the level 6 hit. We know that now it's about 3 minions away from level 6, so won't be in position for that. Samsung actually having the wave this pushed in is perfect. It's not being auto-pushed by the turret, and they're safe from a wombo engage from the Agony's Embrace and also the Ash Arrow, so they're comfortable. Control wards will start to be cleared, but at least for now, the pressure is relieved from bot lane. That does mean that the rest of the lanes have to play back.
For now, we're going to go through the motions. Ambition's going to send over this blue buff to Crown. Looks like red buff force clear as well before he goes for his next ganking opportunity. Top lane might be a potential for him. Mouse is constantly being shoved in by the Gnar pick, which is now the current counter in Korea, and has been putting it down to Mouse. Of course, he wouldn't have a lot of practice, especially on the professional stage, playing into a Gnar, maybe in solo queue, but it's definitely new for him.
I mean, basically, the theory behind the Gnar pick is that your ranged auto attack, that part is clear, always going to be happy against a melee. With Phage Rush especially, you're always out of range, and Mini Gnar is where you do most of your damage because you're just getting so many different hyper procs, especially when you get closer to level 12 or so, get more points in W. You kind of run away with the lane, you match itemization, and you're able to be cannon in the lane and then a tank initiator in the team fight. So Gnar, because he's so clean into what we thought before was the auto win while Renekton, while everything else loses, Gnar comes back crucially to shut down the Renekton. And obviously you get the early information if you see a Gnar ban that Renekton's going to probably be their first pick.
Many on the way pings into the mid lane. Scouts speeding after Crown. He's being pushed towards his own tower.
Smart move.
Will turn to the left and just pop the early ghost, runs away with it, and Ash coming in from the mid lane as well, misses the arrow, and Crown literally just walks away from the gank.
I mean, the dance moves here from Crown have been super on point. He sees the Taliyah come in, goes vertically, because he's respecting multiple different variables. And sure, Evelyn could have just been there to kill him from the front if he had just been rushing down mid, but wasn't there. He gets away, another single summoner used, and he will have the flash down. So they've invested so much to paper over what is a tough laning matchup for Taliyah, and it's been completely ineffective because Crown is outplaying gank after gank.
That was really heads up from Crown. Nice to see again. Cliff goes back to the jungle, but has been warded from this one. Again, wards on the camp's best way to spot the Evelyn. And has seen him on the top side. So for now, mid lane and bot lane can play with a bit of ease and know that probably they can go for this dragon as well since Evelyn's top side and going back to base. So Samsung have a big chunk of time here to take this initial dragon.
Bit surprised to see Zet and Mako losing in CS when they had an advantage in summon. It's worth noting that they had both used their flashes, so it's not like they had an escape summoner available. It will just be the Ocean Drake rushed down, and Koji is behind Mako.
Well, caught a bit of catfish, but he just flashed away. Turned around, gives him a lick.
Notice that Korean teams, compare that to what OMG would have done that scenario. They had double ward down. They know that they can't see Evelyn. They show respect, and they're happy to back away after seeing just a flash go down. It's a regional battle, but that is quintessential control play from a Korean team. They'll take the summoner, and they'll back away.
Goes back to the bottom lane. Hasn't used Agony's Embrace just yet. This would be his first if he goes for this gank.
So Samsung have a control ward down and the ability to try to freeze this wave again. They might just engage though.
Mako,
they know the flash is down.
Yeah, his flash is gone. Goes into the great health. Roller turning around, has lots of damage, but no one can reach him just yet. Rooted on the clear right here. Teleport comes in for the top lane. Meka's already dead. Big no out from Kuve.
Oh, baby!
Crunch as well. And Samsung looking to wipe up this entire fight. Molotov doesn't connect, but Mouse, he's caught in a trap right now, and no one can even save him. Out from EDG, almost a clean wipe, 3-0 at the cost of only Core JJ.
Yeah, Kuve was the one to bring it back, but had the Mega Gnar at the perfect time. Instant Mega Gnar destroyed EDG. Could have been more of a cleanup, but they'll take the victories where they can. Everyone from EDG limps away. Big advantage to Samsung. They might take a turret as well.
Lives on the way to the bottom lane. Don't know what he really has to offer to this one.
Well, that is 3 there. So they're looking to turn here if there's any sort of disagreements or overextension for a turret. Again, not in the LCK playbook.
Sure.
They'll back away. They would have loved to have first bricks so early in the game, but they took the first Drake. They won the first fight. Watch the rage bar here. This is the big story, is the teleport's actually second from the Gnar, but Gnar is actually building up rage bar, then teleports in Mega Gnar at the perfect time. This should have been communicated faster because he owns 3 members of EDG, basically does 70% of 3 health bars on his own. EDG have to scatter away. Samsung get all the advantages. You mentioned the Gnar pick hasn't been there for a while. They're going to learn one thing from this tournament, bring back Gnar.
Yeah, I think so. Gnar Ultimate was absolutely disgusting. 4-3 now. Samsung take the lead quite firmly, plus that initial dragon, which will be the Ocean Dragon. Next dragon is also going to be another Ocean. And for now, EDG are definitely on the back foot. This Evelyn pick started off extremely strong, got the double kill in the bottom lane, but outside of that, has not been able to make these plays happen. Some of that has been courtesy of Crown, and this time it was courtesy of Cuvée.
Yeah, Crown's been a star. Again, it's so difficult to translate exactly how much he's gained for his team, not using summoners until he absolutely has to, and not dying despite almost all the attention from the side of EDG being placed around the mid lane. He's kind of been the Fort Knox as everything fell around. Well, there's a lot of people around.
Well, he's definitely caught in mini form and will not be able to get to mega form
No
quite
flash.
a while. He's being chased down by
Goodbye.
Cleaver Mountain. Will eventually go down, and Cleaver actually picks it up there with the final hate spike. He moves on to the blue, very conveniently happens to be here. So, good pick over to EDG.
And it was at a time where Samsung were largely playing around bot lane, so just like we criticized Crown for taking a blue buff and dying, didn't really feel like it was completely necessary for Cuvée to go for a grand stroll through the river. I understand he was looking for some idyllic, relaxing times after battling, but
Yeah, was not the time, not the
No.
place. Though bottom tower does go down, that's the first tower of the game over to Samsung, so it's not like it was a total loss. The net win is technically over to Samsung.
the big thing for Samsung is they want to keep Syndra in lane against Taliyah for as long as possible. This is the matchup they've picked for. Scout has had to go super defensive. You can't go Merlinomicon into Syndra. You will die. Crown trademark build is always a very early Liandry's. He loves double magic penetration, and you have to go basically into Banshee Veil, otherwise you just die straight up to double magic penetration with the Merlinomicon a bit more on hold from the side of Crown. So piling in early pressure, keeping Taliyah in lane. You don't want Taliyah rotating around the map, making Weaver's Wall plays that you can certainly be susceptible to as a Syndra with no flash. So keeping her in lane has been ideal. Good stuff so far from Crown.
That's also item spikes across the board, also in the form of rulers. Blade of the Ruin King has been picked up now, has a sizable gold lead over Zet. You can see the rest of Samsung just moving through this jungle now. Lots of deep vision actually coming out from Samsung, top side. And also bottom side, pretty much lit up like a Christmas tree. So EDG send their bottom lane to top lane. Ruler and CoreJJ will be meeting them there for the 2v2. Classic Australian lanes.
Oceanic meta, one of my favorites. And also will cement Gnar in lane against Renekton, who kind of disrespectful to be working towards Merc Treads when you're against a Gnar. He's not going to halt his build. We saw in our game one, we kind of criticized the Renekton from Morning for going very respectful against Rumble, whereas going this disrespectful against a Gnar is very painful.
Yep, hurts a lot, as you can see. Mouse hyper once again just
He's
took him
close
down.
to Mega Gnar, but it could be
Everyone
three.
is on their way to the bottom lane. Clearlove and Scout, the
for the Mega
three-man
Gnar.
setup, and he's not
Doesn't
even
get
going to
it.
get Mega Gnar. Gets blasted on the spot from Scout and Clearlove. Bottom tower should be falling, but probably trading the top side by Samsung.
And crucially, Syndra's getting solo experience and some damage on mid lane turret as well. Hard right now to snap judge whether the extra kill is worth it. Depends on the mid lane turret HP. They're not going to quite get it. The standing gold is there in mid. EDG, they'll like what they got, but Samsung aren't going to be too unhappy either.
They'll take away the Raptors as well as an added prize for this one.
Notice the other extra prize is vision in the red side jungle as well. That's why Varus could get some free autos and extra minion waves that weren't accessible as easily to the side of EDG. And sure, Mouse can push up a minion wave, but they don't get any vision around the Ocean Dragon as it spawns. So if they were able to get the vision as well, easy to be like, yep, EDG, excellent job. But because they don't get vision they can return to and an objective is about to spawn, much harder to gauge.
Next dragon has spawned. Again, another Ocean. Clearlove is around the area this time, though is heading back to base. I guess in the overall scheme of things, EDG...
Zet would
big
really like
priority on
items.
this one.
Finally got an item.
Yeah, lots of items actually picked up. Jungle, mid lane, and bottom lane. Banshee's Veil completed from Scout.
Down a Zeal, which is pretty considerable. So with a summoner advantage being down a Zeal after a double kill early, where double kills can end laning phases. If there's any way to get a double kill without using your flashes, as an AD carry especially, game can be over from that sort of advantage. We swapped lanes after the remake, but Samsung, with their stronger laning duo, which I think Ruler and CoreJJ have cemented here, are in a good spot. They're a Zeal up over their opponents. Watching Scout, notice he doesn't have Weaver's Wall.
So there is still a teleport coming down from Mouse. They're locking up Mako right now, and the Fisher follows as well. Zet Gonna be gobbled up and hopefully taken to safety. Mouse is right in the thick of it. Goes in for the engage, but
die.
gets faulted by Crown. He should be falling here, but a battle does ensue. Clear around the side, but Zep blasted away. And Scout also down. 2 casualties, made that 3. EDG are just bleeding out right now. 3 kills and the Dragon to Samsung.
Yeah, pretty woeful team fighting there from EDG. Renekton goes in first, gives up his whole health bar for free. It was mini Gnar at that point. He runs around, gets his whole Gnar bar up, and just kills Scout because they're playing in 3 different fronts. Perfect fight from Samsung. They waited till the Renekton came to them, blasted him down. He didn't have really any magic resist to talk from. They got that Ocean Drake, and now they get mid lane turret as well.
Mid lane demolished. Bot lane's being pushed in as well from Kuve, and it just feels like Samsung getting absolutely everything in this game. Let's take a look at that one more time.
I mean, consider the start of this fight. So the Glacial Fissure comes down, fight could have been ended. Now Mouse is exposed in the middle. They turn onto him, and Crown's like, well, I got a lot of flat magic fan. Goodbye, Mr. Crocodile. But Kuve just runs after Scout. Mako doesn't have the Devour ready for him. He's also over a wall. So the full Gnar bar comes out. That should have been a losing scenario because Gnar was pretty irrelevant as the fight started. But by the end, they just ripped apart EDG. And they put this big investment in the Eve. But it's the second round that's decided this game because they got to counterpick Renekton and get a pressure lane. And you may have seen Syndras in China, but not many Syndras as good as Crown.
Sure, and in this game now, it seemed very doable before that Dragon, but 3,000 gold advantage now to Samsung before the 20-minute mark is definitely hurts you a lot as a team here from EDG. Actually moving lane assignments now a little bit from Crown. Just checking these bushes.
The stats between regions are one of the things I really get excited about coming to Stones. I know it might not be interesting to other people, but the difference with Syndra pick and ban especially, Syndra's still contested 90% of the time, picked or banned in Korea, fallen down to 43% in China. So more than double the contestation rate. The win rate, 61%, has been going down because Ian's been getting it and losing because he's on MVP, sad boys. But regardless, still a high win rate for the Syndra, whereas very often LPL teams, they'll draft Kassadin into it, they'll just beat it. The win rate is very low also, 43% win rate in China, whereas here we see the return to the Syndra, and if you're this good, you're good as, well, maybe this is Kuve's time to die again.
No, he's running away. Maybe he gets Mega Gnar, maybe he doesn't, but he's definitely dead regardless. Mouse is following after, cuts the vision, but still goes down. Once again, Kuve getting caught off in the side lane.
But they do have pressure in 2 lanes at the same time, largely around top. Ambition can just walk around. Varus is able to walk through the enemy jungle, notice, and get to top lane safely because they don't respect the pressure around the inner turret. So another pick that does go the way of EDG, but it will be at best a trade of turrets in the bot side.
Well, Kuve's pretty much laughing to his grave here, Papa, because top lane goes down. Mouse is sieging in the bottom side, but he is a Renekton compared to 4 people, so it's going to take him quite a bit longer.
Here's what I'll say. I mean, a lot of people will be like, well, kill and turret. Let's say he gets the turret. Let's call it kill and turret, which may not happen, but kill and turret for just a turret, well, it's very easy. The advantage to Samsung, I'll hold the point for a moment.
TP does come in from Kuve, revenge of the Gnar. All right, this is gonna take a while. You have to feel, but
I mean, you can see those hyperprocs. Those hyperprocs hurt
doing a lot of damage. Ambition's gonna confirm this one. Mouse will eventually go down. Misses that one. Flash cut out of the way. Mouse will actually get out of this one. Slice and Dice comes up in 2 seconds.
Nice.
No, just kidding. Cask against the wall. Oh no, just slices it away. Ambition actually turned around as soon as Kuve had it.
Oh, the turret blocks it.
He's still coming after him. Lands that boulder, and finally he goes down. Do a barrel roll, Mouse. Eventually falls. Mako came in there just in case. Bit of moral support.
So the chase there, not so interesting. We watched it all, the cat and mouse game. But let's talk about previously what happened. Remember that when they traded a turret for a turret and a kill, which was the best case scenario, the turret didn't go down, but this is a what-if scenario. They also got vision around the top side as Baron was the main objective for just a kill to Kuve with teleport. And the reason why that's significant is that EG once again gets a kill, but no more. And vision around Baron at 21 minutes is way more important than killing someone with a teleport that can be a team fighter. So that what I'm saying here is that EG need to focus on that next point, getting the vision after a pick or prioritizing the vision over just immediate gold and the feel good of getting a kill. Because in the end, it ended up just being a kill trade, and EG and Samsung win in every way. But I feel like Samsung, even without the kill, were the winners because of the vision they got in the red side jungle.
Now that arrow you saw mid lane, we like to call Mystic Arrow in the LPL because Mystic had a game where he literally missed 7 arrows in a row. And no one mobilizes, everyone just watches the arrow to see if it will connect. And if it does, great, no one does anything. But if it doesn't, then whatever. It's part of the scenery.
But like, what happens to those arrows when they sail off the rift?
I have to assume it hits someone in Runeterra, man.
That's a feel bad moment.
Some Yordo out there going to have a very bad day. Going to be stunned for 3.5 seconds.
I mean, they have pretty small hitboxes, so they should be able to sidestep.
Maybe it's going to hit someone though.
That's true.
It's like space. Keeps on going.
Why do we never hear the stories of the innocent victims? The ones hit by the stray ash
Because they're still stunned.
That's fair. No CC duration off the rift.
Yeah, cool JJ caught in the jungle. He's going to jump away to Crown. They do turn this round back onto Mako. Chain of Corruption. He jumps out of the way.
Party
There
cast.
you go. Get out of here.
Well,
What?
this is the turnaround, essentially. They don't catch anyone,
mind
though.
Lord.
That's a teleport you cancel.
Yep. Backing away from this.
Crown was like, another kill?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Sure. Make it. No, don't do it. All right.
They don't have vision on Clear Love, so they're trying to be respectful here, Samsung. They still have a lot of vision in the top quadrant. They took the top turret already. The turn onto Baron is always a scenario. They also have a control ward at the entrance. Their Baron speed is slow. EDG should suss this out.
They should be able to contest one. It's down to half. Make over the wall. He's chunked, however. Clear up. Just get caught out
He's
by
in
that
vision
Winter's
now.
bite.
He was caught there when he took the first passive start, and Samsung will pull away.
Mm-hmm.
2 mountains, and maybe that's a different proposition, but Samsung know that the contest would have come through and have to respect a Evelyn with flash up.
Sure, but it is low risk at the end of the day. They will always be able to disengage from that one. So Samsung, either they get the Baron or they don't. They just waste maybe a couple seconds. Cordier actually flashed for that one, locked down Mako, but Crown doesn't want to use the ultimate right there.
I guess Clear Love assassinated Ruler at some
Yeah,
point.
there you go. Clear Love still needs to get away from this one.
They're still chasing it. This is risky from
He's got a
Samsung.
lot of shielding in from the Agony's Embrace. Takes out the second one onto Crown. Mouse over the wall, locking down Cordier Day for a third. Double kill for Scout. In comes Cuvée and Ambition. And now you've got to know that Baron's going to be
Yeah,
started.
they're going to start it up. Cuvée doesn't have a Rage Bar. This is their ultimate for displacement.
Big barrel out from Ambition, but they're going to turn this one around.
The health bars are not big on most of the front line, only Mouse, so they will back away. They buy some time. Can't see a pick answering here from Samsung, so they do abort the Baron.
Still a lot of pressure coming in from Cuvée at this point in time. He's almost at that Mega 9. He sees a lot of low health
Cuvée.
targets out from Cuvée. The 2 versus 5 slams Mako against the wall, but he saves Mouse's life, and everyone turns back on towards him. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and it will be the 1-on-1 in the end. But still, Samsung stopped the Baron.
I think Samsung made a couple of bad decisions there. They didn't need to keep going forward when Ruler died. Talia came in and cleaned up, and then Gnar uses his flash to only get a trade of kills around Baron, which is the big objective. A Gnar with Flash and Mega Gnar, we've seen over many metas can be the answer. So picking up the trade when they'd already aborted Baron is another one of those Samsung question marks, though we've seen a couple of times over the course of just 2 games.
Samsung will still get the consolation prize of the Dragon from that one, but still getting caught out of that, it means that EDG still have Fangs. They still sharp in this game. It's clear of actually just spotting Ambition and Cordier. He pops out of the shadows once again. In comes Mako and Scout trying to cut him off. Arrow comes in, connects onto the Gragas. Cordier flicks back to his team. Clearlove wants blood though, wants some of this Gragas, but he does get knocked into the team. But Mako's there to save him. Walled off, and he's on the wrong side. Ruler jumps over. Scout instant cleanse out of that one as he jumps away. Zet almost 100 zeros and right click to death. But that will just be the 1 kill to EDG.
Yeah, EDG do pick up the only kill and can turn on the Drake, so once again a scenario where they are outthinking and outmaneuvering in little skirmishes the side of Samsung. Samsung have played so smartly ever since they got the big crunch coming through from the Mega Gnar and bot lane. But now they've let themselves down a couple of times. Still, they have very good solo lane advantage. Still, Gnar can run around with double laning items onto the Renekton. They keep walking up to objectives, and not having 5 in the rear means they haven't necessarily had the right formation to take some of the fights they're taking. Samsung need to reset, take that deep breath, return to playing around the vision we know they can recreate. Because here, Abyssal Voyage and also the Evelyn, so invisibility and a global movement ability means someone had to die, and it ended up being poor JJ.
It was that maneuver that did work out in the end. Clearlove again getting saved by that Tam Kench. And Ruler having to burn the flash as well, being locked on the wrong side from Scout. So well played in EDG from the end. The fact that Zet almost got 100-0 from the
there wasn't even a lot
button,
of spheres out there.
Yeah, bit scary. So he'll probably have to be thinking about that one. Mako may have to save his Devour actually just to simply save Zet in these fights.
And the build here from Crown is focused on just deleting any target, including Renekton. And probably, honestly, if you ask Crown who is realistic deletion target, it's probably Mako. Just kill the damn Tahm Kench. He's going to be stacking health, so going Liandry's and also the Void Staff. Power down the Tahm Kench. Knight's Vow gone. The disengage of the Devourer gone. Gnar can definitely clean up everyone else. but the Tahm Kench is one of the big
Yeah.
variables to consider. Speaking of variables,
Whoa, Agnes embrace onto Ruler and CoreJJ. It looks like Ruler somehow surviving. Ruler's getting chased down along with CoreJJ. Nice sidestep from Scout, and Scout will get the kill in the end. It was actually from Zet in that one. Ambition coming in from behind, but with the Weaver's Wall coming down, where are you going, Scout? Following after Ruler, but he's now locked underneath this tower. But Tahm Kench, hell of a champion, gonna get you out of there.
Mega doing his best CoreJJ impression as Samsung are trying to play multiple lanes. Notice they did take a turret in the bottom lane as Crown is picking up a minion wave in top. He doesn't have the most defensive vision. It's actually very risky to be taking free auto attacks with an Evelynn on the map. And, well,
Knock, knock. Who's at the door? Ready to
It's
go.
everyone.
Mako and Clearlove. The whole party's arrived. And Crown actually just goes back through the back exit and say, see you later.
well, that was a lot of respect shown by Clearlove. He was like, wait, I don't know if I can kill this guy. He's got ultimate up. So with Ghost Flash and ult up, he'll back away. Scout's still, for some reason, on an escape mission.
Oh, he definitely is. Well, I guess CoreJJ gets this one.
Oh, he didn't get any damage on him. Needs an auto. He got an auto. He got it.
All right, there we go. Shut down in the end, but still, what does that mean? 50 seconds on the death timer, 28 minutes in, Baron's on the board, Papa.
And when you go to the Liandry's Rush, you do actually do respectable damage as a Syndra to Baron, usually a very low Baron damage dealer. So Clearlove walking up, he has flash up in a couple of seconds, not right now. They're just giving it up.
Actually, yeah. We just left. That was very
Well,
anticlimactic.
Cuvée walked up in Mega Gnar and Clearlove didn't have flash, so there really was no way to get there. We're going to see a very extended replay. Opened up onto Ruler, but CoreJJ did the team thing. He took the Ash Arrow, he walked up. It took forever to kill him. Wasn't actually a lot of targets to hit with the Glacial Fissure because there was a Banshee Veil already. So Scout dies, but because they had a huge minion wave in top and also the Gnar pushing in the face of Renekton, it was just a delay tactic by Ambition, walking around, rolling the barrel a couple of times, delaying time, and the delay worked super well because there ain't much standing gold left on the map. All the easy objectives are down. It's Baron with some advanced vision and even a half-health inhibitor turret because the rest of the standing gold has been taken by Samsung Galaxy.
Those are all great points there, Papa, but I still want to know how Scout just arrived in the top lane randomly by himself and got killed by CoreJJ. Like, that was ultimately what led to that Baron and led to Samsung being in this position.
It was a bit out of context. He got low, he chased in, and it's got corralled, I think multiple members in different roles. I don't know if Crown should have been able to free walk back from top because it meant the exit paths was 0 for the Taliyah. There wasn't really no way to get out, but you're right. In the end, such a delayed pick with a massive death timer, and it was the easiest Baron in the world, and Clearlove didn't even have a flash over the wall to be able to contest it.
Definitely one of those where you scratch your head a little. But still, EDG are holding this inhibitor tower line at this point in time. Half an hour now into this game, Papa.
You'll be happy to know that Cuvée is not a big fan of building anything other than damage on his Gnar.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
His recent Gnar victory in the 57-minute game against Longzhu included a rapid-fire cannon to get more auto attacks on an exposed Nexus.
Like it.
So
Has he tried the Hurricane yet?
not yet,
The
but
insane rage building power.
he's got the completed Mercurial Scimitar for even more. What's Renekton going to do in my face?
All right, riding the wave on that one. Scout will jump away. Mako and Zet locked
wanna
in
kill
place.
him.
Needs to kill this Tahm Kench. Glaive coming in from the backside, looking for a big Agony's Embrace. Mouse on the front lines as well, looking to do all he can. And Crown instantly deleted out there. Clearlove will take one with him. Everybody knocked back. And Cuvée with a second massive ultimate this game. Zet tries to kite away, but he's lost
dead.
over his team. Boulder to the back of the head. He goes down. And Mouse nowhere to run, nothing to do. And Scout will be the 5th and final casualty of this fight. EDG completely wiped by Samsung.
That's going to be the game. It's going to be the game. They're going to ride in this minion wave in top as they take the inhibitor. Cuvée twice blows open the game on the Gnar that he brought back into the meta, in Korea at least. Trying to take note, the Gnar is strong. It's an answer to the Renekton. And Samsung, it wasn't always clean, but when they needed to make the big plays, they did. And catching the Taliyah, that passage actually ended the game.
It lived up to expectations there, Papa, and as the Nexus falls, Samsung, voice crack went through puberty. Take